Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving Day weekend. Made a full, weekend out of it. Now it's back to regular grind for everybody, I guess, until the Christmas holiday comes around. But at least for a couple of weeks, we're back to normal schedule, I assume. And so we're picking it up here on June the 3rd, 1987. First game of the June 3rd block. Again, going east to west. We start in Yankee Stadium. California Angels taking on the New York Yankees. Pitching matchup, Don Sutton, right-hander for the Angels, against lefty Dennis Rasmussen for the Yankees. The Yankees come to the game 33-18. They're trailing Milwaukee by a game in the East. California 24-27, kind of a middling pack, about 4 games back of the first place A's. But we're in the beginning of June, so there's still quite a ways to go. This is game number 348 in total. Yankee Stadium, singles are 1-7 left and right. Home runs 1-9 left and 1-8 for right. I know that 8 doesn't look very good. And so that's what we have there for the ballpark effects. There you see the score sheet all played out. Rasmussen is 2-2 on the replay. Don Sutton's 3-4. Passball rating on Cerrone is a 9. Passball rating for Miller is a 6. Wild pitch for Rasmussen's an 8. His balks is 0. Sutton is a 7 wild pitch and a balk of 0. So at least these starters cannot balk. So at least want to be burdened by the balks. Hello, Blaine. Hello, Kathy and Jeff. Good to see all of you. And I do need to bring up the Strat computer. That's the one that I didn't do yet while I was doing everything else. And of course, I know a lot of people are surfing the net for the Cyber Monday sales, if you haven't already done so with the Black Friday sales, but I've been very minimal on that as I'm trying to not go crazy over it. If there's something there that I really need and it's on sale, that's one thing, but I don't really want to go buy something I don't really need just because it's on sale. Something being on sale is not a reason to purchase. There needs to be a need for it. Just because you got a good deal on something you can't use or won't ever use, it doesn't make any sense to buy it. That's just my philosophy. Other people may think differently. That's just my philosophy. Dennis Rasmussen. Of course, I'm frugal, so what can I tell you? Dennis Rasmussen on the mound, and Gary Pettis will be leading things off for the California Angels. And I was just going to do it out of, I'm not even sure what the right word is for it. Parody maybe is the best word for it. Because if you look on YouTube, particularly this time of year, a lot of people are going to have what they call unboxing videos, where they unbox some things they bought and show off what they bought. And I was going to do a parody on that. I figured it would tick people off, so I didn't do it. But I thought about doing a parody where I did I don't know if we call it a reverse unboxing or an anti-unboxing or whatever. But I was going to open up an empty box and put dollar bills in there and say, this is all the money I saved by not buying stuff. So, but I didn't think that would go over very well, so I didn't do it. No, it was, the game was so bad, Kathy, that it just, I mean, it wasn't really a, what do you call it? It wasn't really competitive, so there wasn't like, it was kind of like over before it started kind of thing. So, because they're so bad, of course, that will improve. I kind of hinted at them. I said, you better get us this year because next year with James Franklin there, Hokie's going to be right back in contention for the championship next year because he's already getting a lot of recruits in, but that's not going to do it this year. That's going to be the future. But he's also going to hit the transfer portal hard, and they got a lot of money to spend. So they're back in the game now. They were playing checkers where everybody else was playing chess, and now they're finally up to chess. Not only chess, but 3D chess. If you remember from Star Trek, Spock used to play that 3-level chess. That's kind of what they're playing right now. It's a 3-level chess. That's a thing there, Blaine. Yeah, you got to be careful. Um, I did spend minimal money on a couple of PDFs, like play.com had it for $7. You got a group of PDF files for $7. It's kind of a mystery of what you got. Some things were a mystery, some things weren't. I bought the one that wasn't a mystery, so I did get the fictional sets anthology or whatever you want to call it. $7, a pretty good deal. Just got to print it out myself, which is no big deal. But that gives me a chance to be creative with my PDF editor and create logos and stuff like that. So that's something that might be fun to do. But yeah, but Kathy, I did some. Thanksgiving actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. The talk was there, but they were kind of amongst themselves talking about it, and kind of left me out of the pic. I kind of stayed away from it, so there was no like direct interaction. Because I told them point blank, I know they're bad, so I'm not saying that they're going to win. I mean, that would be stupid of me to have said that. So, and then the game started, and Virginia Tech best running back and best receiver were injured, so they didn't even have those going for them, and it was just a mess. So, anyway, before we throw out the first pitch of the game, we have the ceremonial first sip. Got to have the ceremonial first sip. And there it is. And Jeff, that's some good coffee. No doubt about it. Hello, Joel. Didn't play Friday. I was thinking about playing Friday, but then I had so much other stuff going on. I just didn't do it. So I went ahead actually, and I did one thing I said I wasn't going to do, but I did it anyway just for convenience. I simmed the Chicago Texas game just to get it out of the way. Not a big deal. Neither one of those teams are in contention, really, so it really doesn't matter. And now we can start fresh here. And then tomorrow we'll be at Fenway Park for the Twins and the Red Sox. That'll be the game tomorrow. Then after that, I got to look at the schedule and see which games fall into place, which areas. All right, so the full numbers on Dennis Rasmussen. He is 2-2 with a 4.22 ERA. In real world, he had a 4.75 earned run average and was 9-7. But in this replay so far, he's 2-2 with a 4.22 ERA, 60 innings pitched, 55 hits, 18 walks, and 45 strikeouts. Gary Pettis is going to lead things off for the California Angels in center field. Pettis is hitting 260 on the replay. No homers, 16 driven in. He only hit 208 real world, so he's definitely doing better and getting on base more. That's a 1-8, and we're underway. Ground ball to short. That's Tollefson will make that play. And we're underway to start the week and start the June 3rd set of games. Game number 348 on the replay of about, I don't know if I totaled up exactly how many games it's going to be for the American League in 1987 with the total number of games, but you can figure it out pretty quickly, I guess. What is there? 14 teams, so that's 7 matchups times whatever 7 times 162 is. That's pretty much what it is. All right, but then I also started adding in the one National League game a week or day, so that's going to add to that total. Here's Wally Joyner. Joyner hitting 314 on the replay, 13 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 285 real world. Lefty on lefty matchup. That's a 3-6, and that's a 1-10 home run, but that's a 14, so he'll settle in air quotes with a double. So Joyner hits it off the top of the wall, and by the time Claudel Washington brings it in, Joyner is standing at second base with a 1-out double. And Angels have something cooking here in the top of the first. Designated hitter Brian Downing is at the plate. Downing hitting 347 on the replay, 14 homers, 40 driven in. He hit 272 real world. So he's definitely ahead of the game. That's a 2-11, and that's a ground ball shortstop A, so that means that Joyner is going to have to hold at second base as Tollefson looks him back. So there's 2 away, but it is now what Jeff calls a clutch situation. Runner at second and 2 outs for Doug DeSensei, third baseman. And DeSensei is hitting 210 on the replay, 6 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 234 in the real season. 1 on the Havoc, so Dennis Rasmussen's wild pitch rating is an 8. But he will not have a wild pitch as Rick Cerrone blocks that pitch. So ball one count on to Sensei, and he stands in 2-6, and that's a solid single to right field. Don't know if Joyner can score, though. We'll have to do some numbers. Joyner is an 11, but he was not being held, makes him a 12. There are 2 outs, makes him a 14, but Winfield is a -4 arm. That'd be a 1 to 10. It's still a 50-50 shot, and Devon White is not a 500 hitter the last time I checked, so your odds are still better off to try to send him. Since the sense, oh, and you know what? When I was doing the score sheet, I just realized I forgot to fix something. I did this score sheet over the weekend and was filling it in, and I accidentally put his name in instead of doing the numbers. That was kind of silly. So let me get to Sensei's numbers real quick. 3E23. Sometimes I do these things in bulk, and I get going so fast on these score sheets that it messes up on me. So here we go. All right, so let's go back to the calculation. 11, 2 outs makes him a 13. It was not being held as a 14, but the -4 is a 10. So it's a 1 to 10. He's going to score. The Sensei, since he's only a 10, will not take second base on the throw, so the throw will come home. Joyner is trying to score. A 1 to 10, he's safe. 11 to 20, and Mr. May Winfield throws him out. And he's safely in there. So Winfield not quite on target with the throw. RBI single from Doug DeSensei, and the California Angels take a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. So here's Devon White. DeSensei, again, like my house rule was that if the runner here is not a 13 or higher speed, he does not take the throw. So that's my little house rule to keep slower runners from advancing too far. Just to be realistic, because I just don't think he would take, I don't think DeSensei is, I mean, he's getting up there in age. I mean, he's about ready to retire, so I don't think he's going to be taking extra bases. All right, here's Devon White hitting 278 on the replay. 9 homers, 30 driven in. He hit 263 real world. Nothing on the habit. So that's a leaner, so we're going to redo that. See that die there is leaning. I could knock it down to a 2 or lift it up to a 4, but I'm not going to do either. I'm going to go ahead and tap this. So you can see it was leaning. So we're going to re-roll the whole thing because my rule is they ought to be flat. And in the thing here, 1-6 for Devon White, and he's going to ground to short. So again, Tollison makes all 3 assists. But the RBI single off the bat of Doug DeSensei scores Wally Joyner, and the California Angels take a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first. And the veteran Don Sutton, this is about his last year. He may have pitched a little bit in 88, but I think he was pretty much on his last leg at this point. I think he did go back to the Dodgers in 88, but I think this is the last full season. 11-11 and a 4.70 earned run average for Sutton in the real world. On the replay, he's 3-4 with an ERA of 4.85, so it's not too bad. 4.70 real, 4.85 replay. It's pretty close. 65 innings pitched, 73 hits. 7 walks, 34 strikeouts. And with Ricky Henderson still on the shelf, Claudell Washington will do the leading off and play in center field. Let's see. Washington is hitting 377 on the replay and just 77 at bats. Hit 279 real world. He's got 2 homers and 15 driven in. That's a 210, and that's going to be a ground ball right back to Sutton. Can't get much easier if you're Don Sutton than to get a tapper right back to the mound. Quickly 1 away for Willie Randolph. Randolph hitting 268, a homer, 18 driven in. He hit 305 real world. It's a 3-6, and he's going to have some trouble here for Sutton. 1 to 9 is a home run. That's a 1. It's gone. We don't need the baby wipes, Jeff, but it's gone. Let's look at it again. 3-6. 3-6 on Willie Randolph. Let's get a close-up look here. 3-6 for Willie Randolph. Let me see if I can get this where I can see what I'm doing here. All right, let's look at it again here. Willie Randolph on that 3-6, you can see the 1-9 is a home run, 10 to 20 is a double. You see the double die is a 1. So it is gone. It is gone. Willie Randolph is going to tie this ball game with 1 swing of the bat as he takes it deep off of Sutton. And that's home run number 2 on the season for Willie Randolph, RBI number 19. So Randolph with his 2nd home run of the season. He's not really known for a power guy, but he can get into one once in a while. Randolph had 7 home runs real world in the whole season. He's got 2 right now. And that deserves another sip. Top of the third question, yes, from Kathy. We're looking forward to that. All right. That's some good coffee. I can't help it. Got to get it while it's hot, as they say. All right. Here is Mr. Mattingly, Downey Baseball. He's had a little bit of an off year so far in the replays, only hitting .284, 9 homers, 30 driven in. He had .327 real world. 110, and that's a solid single. So Mattingly gets a solid base hit. Opposite field job to left field. He will not be held. And here's Gary Ward, left fielder. Oh, Jeff has a question at the top of the fourth. Cool. Lock and load. Get him ready. We'll try to answer him. Let's see. Gary Ward in the replays hitting .236, 7 homers, 22 driven in. He hit .248 real world. First havoc roll for Sutton, but nothing's happening. 3-11, and that is a fly ball to right field where Devon White will haul it in. 2 down. And that'll bring up Mr. May, Dave Winfield. Of course, we're in June now, so that's not going to help him out now. He's hitting .269 on the replay, 10 homers, 28 driven in. He had .275 real world, so it's pretty much right on target with his numbers. 2-5, and that's a ground ball to short. And Schofield will make the play. But the home run from Willie Randolph has tied the score at the end of 1. We are tied at 1. And speaking of Schofield, he's going to be the leadoff hitter. To start the top of the second against Rasmussen. Schofield on the replay is hitting .241. 3 homers, 19 driven in. He hit .251 real world. 3-7 against the left-hander is a base on ball. So first walk issued by Rasmussen. Schofield looking to maybe get the lead, needs a 4 or a 5. Rasmussen is a +2 overall, so if he gets the lead, he's going to have a very good chance to steal. So a 4 or a 5, he obtains the lead. He does not, so he will hold. And that'll bring up Jack Howell, the left fielder. Lefty on lefty matchup for Howell. Howell's hitting .248 on the replay, 4 homers, 16 driven in. He had .245 real world. 2-6 for Howell, struck him out. So first strikeout for Rasmussen. First walk and first strikeout come back to back. And that'll bring up the catcher, Darryl Miller, giving Bob Boone the game off. Darryl Miller on the replay hitting .214, 3 homers, 13 driven in. He at .241 real world. Nothing on the havoc. Whoops. Hello, greats from the West Coast. Good to see you. Hello, are you ready? 1-8, and that's going to be a fly to center field. That'll be hauled in by Claudell Washington. 2 down. And that will send up Gus Polidor. He's giving Mark McLemore the game off against the left-hander. So Polidor gets a shot. Every time I think of Polidor, for whatever reason, that's the way my mind thinks. The first word that came to my mind was Polident, like the stuff for the dentures. When I see Polidor, I thought of Polident. I don't know why, but I did. I know that pun doesn't have teeth to it, but I did it anyway. All right, here's Polidor. He's hitting .250 on the replay. No homers, 2 driven in, just 20 at bats, so he's 5 out of 20. Hit .263 real world. .29, and that's going to be a single to right field. There's an anti-clutch, but the runner is not in scoring position, so the clutch is invalid. That single will go to right field. Question is, can Schofield get to third base? He probably can. He's a 15. If he was being held, makes him a 14, but there are 2 outs, makes him a 16. And then the throw from right field to third base, you add 2 more, makes him an 18. But then the -4 here is a 14. So it's a 1 to 14 if they want to send him. Polidor is less than a 13 here, so he cannot advance on the throw. So they will send him, and Winfield will throw it. It's a 1-14, and he's safe. And he's in there at third base. So runners are at the corners with 2 outs. And we're back to the top of the order for Gary Pettis. So you get that extra boost of that +2 when a ball is hit to right field and the throw has to go to third base. Plus there were 2 outs. So you get him that's a +4 right there. And that +4 kind of negates the -4 arm, and then you got the -1 for being held. So it was a gamble. They took it, and it paid off for them. So now runners at the corners, 2 outs for Gary Pettis. 6-9. Pettis' switch hitter batting right-handed is a fly ball to center field. So Claudell Washington makes the catch, and Rasmussen pitches around the 2 base runners. We go to the bottom of the second. We're still tied at a run apiece. And due up for the Yankees will be Mike Pagliarulo, third baseman. Pagliarulo hitting .261 on the replay. 15 homers, 34 driven in. He only hit .234 in the real season. 4-6 left-handed is a fly to center, and Gary Pettis will run that down. 1 down, and that's going to take us to the designated hitter, Dan Pasqua. Another lefty bat. Pasqua hitting .265 on the replay. 10 homers, 21 driven in. He hit .233 real world. 5-7, and that's a strikeout for Sutton. That's his first strikeout of the game. And with 2 outs, nobody on, brings up the catcher, Rick Cerrone. Cerrone on the replay hitting .267, 2 homers, 11 driven in. He hit .243 real world. 3-9 against the right-hander is a walk, so Sutton will issue his first walk. And that's going to send up the number 9 hitter, Wayne Tollison, shortstop. Tollison hitting a .195 on the replay, 2 homers, 15 driven in. He hit .221 in the real season. Sutton to the switch hitter, Tollison. 6-6, and that's going to be trouble for Sutton. 1-18 is going to be a single, and that is a 16, so it's only 1 star, so it's going to move runners to first and second. But now we're in a clutch situation for Claudell Washington. See what Claudell does in the clutch. He will gain a hit on 1-6 and 3-6, and on 3-10. So he's got 3 different places he gains hits in the clutch. First time up, he grounded back to Sutton. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. Well, he can't balk, but the pass ball rate on Miller is a 4 if we're checking pass balls. If we're checking balks, there's no balk rating there. Pitch to Claudell, 3-7 for Claudell, and he struck him out. So Claudell strikes out in the clutch situation, and that's going to end it for the Yankees here in the bottom of the second. They come away with nothing. We've completed 2 at the stadium. Score still tied at 1 apiece. And now if you turn your attention to the chat box, Kathy's got trivia question number 1 for us, while Dennis Rasmussen takes his warm-up tosses. And here's the question. In a recent World Series, it was the first in which both teams were expansion teams formed after 1960. Do you know year and teams? Year and teams. Oh, yeah. That's you talking about the year of expansion or the year of the World Series? Year of the World Series, I guess we're talking 2023, Arizona and Texas. No, not Arizona and Texas. Hello, Yoko. Oh, Yoku. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. So it was not those 2 teams, okay? 007, all right. Oh, well, there's... So let's see what recent World Series. Oh, cool, okay. All right, Kathy, you might have us stumped here. Let's see. I'm trying to go back in time and think of who the recent World Series. You said it was recent. So I'm not sure what recent can mean a lot of things. I know Houston and the Nationals, but again, the Nationals are not an expansion team. They were relocate. Oh, Royals and Mets. Okay, cool. I had to go back to 15. Okay, I was thinking a little earlier that like recent was being like in the last couple of years, but yeah, that's within 10 years. So that's pretty recent. Good question. Royals and the Mets, and of course it was the Royals winning that, much to the dismay of Met fans, but just the way it works out. All right, and of course next inning, top of the fourth, we'll wait for Jeff's question. But now we start the top of the third. Is Wally Joyner? He doubled and scored his first time up. 1-3, and that's going to be a hit by pitch. He gets plunked, does Wally Joyner. So Wally Joyner gets hit by the pitch from Rasmussen. He will not be held. And here is Brian Downing. Or as Chris Berman called him, Brian 10 Downing Street. 3-7, and that's a walk. So Rasmussen getting a little bit of trouble without giving up any hits. He's got a hit by pitch and a walk. And that is walk number 2 issued by Rasmussen. Going down a slippery slope, here is DeSensei. He had the RBI single his first time up. DeSensei. 4-8, and that's a 1-8 single, 9-20. He lines to short. That's a single. It's only a 1 star. It's going to load the bases. So just that quickly, the Angels have loaded the bases with nobody out. And Devon White, the batter, dangerous Devon White. He's got some power, particularly against lefties. So you got to watch out if you are Rasmussen. The infield's back for the double play. They need outs. They will trade a run to get 2 outs. That's a 6-5. That's ground ball second base C, so that will score the run. Randolph's only play is to go to first base. So Joyner scores. Downing will move to third base, and DeSensei will move to second base. So it almost acted like a sacrifice bunt, but it's just a RBI ground out. And the Angels lead it 2-1. Now the infield is in for the Yankees with runners at second and third. So infield is in for Schofield. We get a 1-8, and that's going to be a 1-7 for a triple, but that's an 11. It'll be a sacrifice fly on the fly ball B. So it will be a sacrifice fly to left field. Ward has no chance to throw out Downing, and the Angels pick up a second run to make it a 3-1 game. And now Jack Howell is up in a clutch situation with a runner at second and 2 outs in the clutch against lefties. He only faced lefties 16% of the time, but they started him in this game, but he has no clutch rating against left-handed pitchers. In fact, he doesn't even have clutch rating on anything for whatever reason. 4-4 for Rasmussen. That's an in-home run chance straight up, and he has normal power. That is gone. Jeff, get the baby wipes out. That is clean as a baby's ass. Right here, 4-4. In-home run straight up. And he's got normal power. It is gone. A 2-run shot from Jack Howell, and the Angels have blown this thing open to 5-1. For Jack Howell, his 5th home run of the replay. He hit 23 real world. But he hit his 5th here. RBIs 17 and 18. 2-run shot, 4 runs. It's an Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning for the Angels right now, as they take a 5-1 lead. And that'll get Rasmussen a little bit perturbed, but what are you going to do about it? Here's Miller. 2-8 from Miller is a ground ball to Pagliarulo to end the inning, but a Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning for the California Angels. And they take that 4-1 lead and hand it over to Don Sutton. Sutton will face Randolph, who has the only run of the game for the Yankees with his second home run of the season. He will lead off, followed by Madeley and Ward. So you got the heart of the order coming up for the Yankees. That's some good coffee, Jeff. Can't lie about that. Here's Randolph. 5-3, and as a fly ball left field X. Howell is he's a good hitter, but not a very good fielder. 4-4. Range is a little suspect with a 4 there. But I believe this is the first X chance of the game. It took 3 innings to get there, but we finally get an X chance. And let's see, a 4-4 for Mr. Howell. 4-14 is no problem. He will get there. A 4 and an 11 is also no problem. So Jack Howell will make the catch on Randolph. And there's one away. Again, tomorrow we'll be at Fenway Park for the Twins and the Red Sox. Les Straker against Bob Stanley. That's the pitching matchup. Here's Don Mattingly. 4-7. Ground ball second base X. Second base X. We're looking at Polidor. 3E21 for Polidor. Hello, Dan. 3E20. Oh, 3 and a 2. That's terrible. That's going to get through for a base hit for Mattingly. The 3 and the 2 is a single. That's an 11, and Polidor is an E21. There is no 11 there, but a base hit for Mattingly. He's 2 for 2, and he needs it. His average was kind of below par. And also in this game, the Yankees need base runners after giving up the 4 runs in the previous inning. Here's Gary Ward. .62, and that's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Devon White. He's a 1E9. 111, that's not even necessary there. E9 and a 9. E9 and a 9. There is no 9 there. And the 1, the 11 is an F2. I just rolled the D20 in case we rolled a 1. The runner would have advanced to second, but we didn't do that. So it's just a fly out to right field, 2 down. And that'll bring up Mr. May, Dave Winfield. Grounded to short his first time up. 6-4. Oh, he just missed an in-home run chance. 6-5 would have been a home run chance straight up, but 6-4 is a catcher X, and that is Miller, 4E13. So it's Miller time on the defensive chart. He's a 4E13. 4 and a 13 is a P/F. P/F. We'll see if there's any kind of chicanery as far as anything goes. You're 9, and he is an E13. E13, there's no 9 here, so it's P/F. So I think we're going to the wild pitch rating to check if there is a. Yep, we're going to the wild pitch rating to see if there's going to be a pass ball. So the wild pitch rating on Sutton is a 7. We get a 1 to 7, it'll be a pass ball. And we do. So it's a pass ball on Miller, and that'll move Mattingly to second base. He's now in scoring position. This turns this at bat for Winfield now into a clutch situation. Now that the runner's on second. So we'll check out his clutch ratings against right-handers. Gains a hit on 111. That looks to be the only place. Everything else is neutral. 3-5 for Winfield. Grounds it to short, and that's going to end the inning. So Winfield could not come through. At the end of 3, it is California 5 and the Yankees 1. And now Jeff has a question for us. I believe he says a 3-parter. So we'll give him the floor right now and let him put his question in. and take a look at the chat and see what we got. All right, this is a three-part question. Name the neighborhood, the city, and the state where George Herman Ruth was born. Only complete. Okay, well, I know 1/3 of that. 'Cause I know where I know the neighborhood and the city. I know the city and the state. I don't know the neighborhood. I don't know what the neighborhood was called. I know he was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and he was born I think, kind of on the spot where Camden Yards is, but I don't know the neighborhood on that. Maybe Camden Yards is the neighborhood. I have no idea. I'll say Camden Yards, Baltimore, Maryland, but I don't know if that's called Camden Yards. I mean, it's called Camden Yards now. Back then, it was probably called something else. But I believe there was a bar there or something where his father worked. That's the new Camden Yard. No, it's not. Okay. Oh, I'm not Googling, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna leave it off to somebody. We know he's in Baltimore, Maryland. We just got to figure out what the neighborhood's called, which I don't know. Some good coffee though. Oh, Pigtown. I didn't know there was a neighborhood called Pigtown. That's interesting. Pigtown. That would be interesting if they had a song called Pigtown Races instead of Camptown Races. Pigtown. Okay. Very good. Great question. All right, top of the fourth, we got Gus Polidor to lead it off. 6-5, ground ball to second. Randolph will make the play. One away. Top of the order we go to Gary Pettis. Pettis is 0 for 2. 4-7. 4-7. One's a double, but anything else he flies to left. So that is a fly out to Gary Ward. Out number 2. That'll send up Wally World. He is doubled and hit by a pitch. He scored 2 runs. 6-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Randolph, 2E17 for Randolph. A 2E17 for Randolph. 2 and a 6 is going to be a G2, no problem. That is a 9, and he's an E17. There is no 9, so Randolph will make the play. So 1-2-3 inning for Rasmussen, and he needed it after that 4 spot. He definitely needed it to get the out there. So we go to the bottom of the fourth, still 5-1 California. Due up for the Yankees, Mike Pagliarulo. There will be a 7th inning stretch because I will need to heat my coffee by then. Question from Kathy in the top of the 5th. So, you know what that means, Kathy? That means the Yankees are going to score some runs because every time you promote a question in the previous half inning, the half inning runs long. So that means they're going to get base runners or something. It won't be a 1-2-3 inning. At least that hasn't been the pattern. Oh, we got a hopping dice, though. That can be a pattern sometimes. Here's Pags. 5-7. Struck him out. That is the 3rd strikeout for Sutton. So maybe this will break the trend and we'll get a 1-2-3 inning prior to the trivia. Here's Pasqua. 6-7. Ground ball shortstop X, looking at Schofield, and he's a 2E12. So pretty solid fielder, 2E12. So basically on a 2, we just need a 3 or higher to get to the play. So we're going to go over here, check everything else. Yeah, 5 is going to make the play. That is a 12, and he is an E12, right? You got 12 and a 12. There is no 12 there, so Schofield will make the play. Quickly, 2 up and 2 down. And that'll send up Rick Cerrone, who did reach bases last time, his only time up with a walk. 5-7, ground ball second base X. We're looking at Polidor. He's a 3E21 for Polidor. 3 and a 4 is a base hit. That is a 14, and he is an E21. There's a 13 there, but no 14. But it won't be an error, but it will be a single for Rick Cerrone. 2-out single. He will not be held. It'll bring up Wayne Tollison. Tollison singled his first time up. 311. That's a split chance. 1 to 13 is a single, but that's a 15. So he lines out to second base. And incredibly, that's the first line out in 4 innings. Usually I get 6 or 7 of those a game, but not this time. This time we're slow on those. So nothing doing for the Yankees. At the end of 4 complete, it's California 5, Yankees 1. And now if you turn your attention to the chat area, and Kathy has question number 2 for us, so while Rasmussen finishes up his warm-up tosses. Okay, to bounce off Jeff's question back in the 4th, what is it physically impossible for a pig to do? Oh, wow. What's physically impossible for a pig to do? That's interesting. Jeff, I don't know if you would consider that in our arcane trivia question or not. We've got fly and cry and throw a baseball. Not sure any of those are correct. Kathy has confirmed none of those are correct. It's a trick question, okay? Maybe sweat. Can pigs not sweat? They have sweat glands or something? They can't look up. Okay. That's interesting. Did not know that. See, we learned something on this. Just like we used to do on Jeff's channel. You learn some interesting factoids, to use the old CNN term, a factoid. So they can't look up. Okay. So if the farmer comes by and tells the pigs things are looking up, they can't even know what they're talking about. All right, here's Brian Downing. 6'3", and this is the fatigue inning for Rasmussen. 6'3" is a ground ball first base X. That's Mattingly. The 1 E6. We know he's going to get to it with the 1. We're just looking at the E6, and the only error chances on E6 are 3, 13, and 18. And he avoids all of those, so he'll make the play and flip to Rasmussen covering 3-1 for the first out. And this, like I said, this is the fatigue inning for Rasmussen, so we'll keep an eye on that. Doug DeSensei steps to the plate. He's 2 for 2. 6-5. That's a ground ball to second to Randolph. So Rasmussen may keep full endurance into the 6th inning if he can get Devon White. White's 0 for 2. 2-8 against the lefty, but that's a base hit for Devon White. And he will be looking to run because he is a pretty good base stealer. So, and Rasmussen is a +2 hold. When you combine it with the -1 for Cerrone, his +3 makes a net +2. So if he got the lead, it'd be a 1-18 to steal. So he's going 3, 4, 5, 6 to get the lead. And he doesn't get it. So he's going to hold. And that'll bring up Schofield. 6-8. And that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he has not reached fatigue yet. So the strikeout is good. Second strikeout for Rasmussen. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. And Jeff has a trivia question at the top of the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 5th. And it'll be top of the order for the Yankees. Claudel Washington. This is also the fatigue inning for Sutton. He's got a 5 there. So we'll keep an eye on him as well. Claudel Washington 0 for 2. 1-6. He's going to be 0 for 3 as he flies out to Gary Pettis in center field. 1 away for Willie Randolph. accounting for the only Yankee run of the game with a homer in the first inning. 6-11, ground ball shortstop X looking at Schofield again. He's a 2E12. So as a 2 fielder, the only way he gets a base hit is on a 1 or a 2, so we're really going to check the infield. As long as this isn't a 1 or a 2, he's okay. That's 17, he's fine. That's a 12, and he is an E12. We had that once before. There is no 12 there, so Schofield will make the play. 2 up, 2 down for Donnie Baseball, who's 2 for 2 in this game. Raising his average to 291 at the moment. He's still below his 327 season average, but he's trying to work his way back there. 6-7. Ground ball shortstop X. We're back to Schofield again at 2E12. Whoa, we got a hop and dice. We're going to re-roll that. So 2 and 8, we get to it, but that's a 16. That could be a challenge. 12 and a 16. Nope, there's a 15, but no 16. So Schofield will make the play on Mattingly to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. So we go to the 6th inning with the score still 5-1. And if you turn your attention to the chat area, Jeffrey has a trivia question for us while Rasmussen does his warm-up tosses. Wait for it now. While I drink more coffee. All right, who was pitching when Juan Marichal clubbed John Roseboro over the head with a bat during a regular season game? So Marichal was at bat. Roseboro for the Dodgers was the catcher, but who was pitching is the question. There's about 6 guys I can think of, but I'm not sure which one. And no Googling, no looking up the play-by-play. Are you ready? Guesses Drysdale. That was my first guess, but it's probably more obscure than that. I remember the incident. I just don't remember the pitcher. I remember focusing on the, let's see, was it Johnny Padres maybe? I don't remember what year it was. It wasn't the Padres. Good question. I don't remember exactly I'm assuming it was in the late 50s, early 60s. Probably early 60s, I imagine. That's a good one, Jeff. You might have us stumped here. Probably hard to give a hint without giving it away. We got a guess of Koufax. Don't know if that's correct or not, but a logical guess. Oh, Koufax is correct. Very good. Are you ready? You got it. So what was the story there, Jeff? Was it an inside pitch and Marichal was jabbering with Roseboro about it, or I wonder what the genesis of that, what built up to that? And I'm assuming there were ejections from that. If you clubbed him over here with a bat, heck, there might have even been suspensions at that point. Hard to say. But great question. All right, here's Jack Howell. He'll lead off here in the top of the 6th. 5-10. Lefty. That's a ballpark blast for Jack Howell. We already know he has home run power because he hit one in his last at bat. But a 5-10 is a ballpark blast, but that's a 16, and he needed a 9 or less. So it's just a warning track fly ball to Winfield. And for the out number 1. All right, here is Darryl Miller. 6'10", and that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Claudell Washington. He is a 3E5 for Claudell. a 3E5. 3 and a 6 is going to drop in for a base hit. That's one Ricky Henderson would have gotten, but he's not there, obviously. That's a 6, and he is an E5. There is no 6 there, but it is going to drop in for a base hit. Claudel just couldn't quite get to it. Just didn't get the range, didn't get the good jump off the bat. And that will drop for a hit. Here's Gus Polidor. Polidor 1 for 2. 6-3, ground ball first base X. So we're looking at Mattingly. Miller was not being held, so Mattingly will keep his 1E6. See if they can turn the double play. A 1 and 11 might do it. Might be a G1. 1 and 11 is a G1. That's a 13. Mattingly is an E6. And there's a 13 right there. Mattingly boots it. How do you like that? Thinking about turning the double play too fast, and he ends up booting it. He has errors on 3, 13, and 18, and we got a 13 there. So Mattingly boots it. E3. Rare occasion there, but it happens to the best of them. So first and second now, with only one out, and the Yankee bullpen is active. We do have Tim Stoddard in the bullpen, a right-hander loosening. Here's Gary Pettis. 3-9 for Pettis. That's a ground ball shortstop A's. That's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. So Rasmussen induces the ground ball double play. It's Giovanni's tailor-made double play. Gets the Yankees out of the inning. And we will go to the bottom of the 6th with the score still 5-1. Rasmussen still hanging in. He's going to come back to start the 7th. Sutton in his fatigue inning was 1-2-3, so he's got full endurance. He may have, Jeff. I'll have to wait till the game is over and then check how many. Well, I can look at his numbers here and see what he's done defensively on the replay. I don't know if it'll give me his log or not, but I can figure out on the computer what his total number of errors were. Let's see here. Maybe I can. I don't know. I might not be able to do that. No, I don't think it's going to give me that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it doesn't give. It just has the batting stats as a thing here, not the defensive stats. So he may have. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Pull out old score sheets or something like that. All right, here's Gary Ward, and again, Sutton has full endurance going. 3-7 for Ward. He's going to strike out. That is strikeout number 4 for Don Sutton. And that'll send up Mr. May, Dave Winfield. 3-12, and that's a ballpark blast for Winfield. That's a 6. It's gone. It's not clean as a baby's ass, but it counts the same for Mr. May. Look at it again. 3-12 is a ballpark blast. That's a 6. Home runs are 1-8. 6 fits. Home run, Mr. Winfield. It's a solo shot. But the Yankees will take anything they can get at this point. For Winfield, that is home run number 11 on the replay. He had 27 real world. That's home run number 11. That was at bat number 200 for Winfield. Exactly bat number 200. He had 575. So in basically 1/3 of his at-bats, he's got a little over 1/3 of the home run total. So it's not an unrealistic pace there at all. But it's now a 5-2 game. 5-2 game. Hello, Frank. Good to see you. Here's Pagliarulo. 2-3, and that's a pop out to the third base, where the Sensei will make the play. 2 down for Pasqua. Dan Pasqua. 1-8 for Pasqua. Struck him out. Strikeout number 5. For Sutton, he gives up the home run, but for him it was a solo shot. He's getting up to, that's kind of been his career. He gave up a lot of home runs, but a lot of them were solo shots, and they don't hurt you as bad as the other ones. So we go to the top of the 7th. Jeffrey has another question for us. course, there will be a 7th inning stretch at the bottom of the inning because I'm going to need to heat up my coffee, refresh it, because my coffee's definitely gotten cooler now. So if you look at the chat area and see what Jeff has for us for a question. See if we can figure this one out. Stoddard is still in the bullpen for the Yankees. Might come in after. They might let Rasmussen face Joyner and then have the right-hander come in. We'll wait and see. Who was the shortest major league player ever? Well, if you count the one game, it was Eddie Goodell. That what's his name? Vec, whatever his name is, brought in for the very diminutive Eddie Goodell. But if you're talking about regular player, oh, okay, that's the one you were talking about. Okay, Eddie Goodell. I think he came in and walked because the pitcher couldn't find the strike zone on him. Of course, that was a one-time stunt. Otherwise, I was going to guess Freddie Patek if you wanted somebody more, more of an everyday player kind of thing. All right, so top of the 7th we go. Wally World, Wally Joyner is stepping to the plate. It's a 6-7. That's a ground ball, second base X. We're looking at Randolph, a 2E17. Boy, it took 3 innings to get the first X chance. Now they're coming in droves. 2E17. Well, if he gets a 3 or higher, he'll make the play. He will, and that's an 8. E17 and an 8. There is no 8 there, so Willie Randolph does make the play. And they retire Joyner. 3'7" and 60 pounds. Very good. So now the Yankees, Lou Piniella has a decision to make. Do you stick with Rasmussen, or with 2 right-handers coming up, do you go to Stoddard? And I think they're going to make the move to Stoddard. Get a fresh arm in the game. Rasmussen will go 6 1/3. And he's going to be saddled with the loss unless the Yankees make a big-time comeback. 7 hits, 5 runs, all of which were earned. Let's see here. He walked 2, and he struck out 2. And now Tim Stoddard, the big right-hander, former basketball player at North Carolina State. I believe he's like 6'8" or something. I don't remember his exact height, but it was pretty big. He's coming into the game. He was 4-3 with a 3.50 ERA in real world. We'll bring him on the computer and see what he's done on the replay. Patek was 5'5". Okay. Dan, it's a good idea. You could hit by plunk him. You probably missed him trying to plunk him though. All right, so Mr. Stoddard is going to come on. And again, Stoddard in the real season, 4-3, 3.50 ERA, and 8 saves. In the replay, he's 4-3 with a 4.06 ERA and 1 save. So he's going to be facing Brian Downing. It'll be Downing and DeSensei, 2 right-handed hitters coming up. That's a 1-7, and that's a 1-7 double. That's an 18, so it'll be a fly out to Claudell Washington for out number 2. And that'll bring up DeSensei. That's a 4-4 on Stoddard. That's an in-home run chance. In-home run chance 1-13. That's a 7. DeSensei has normal power. It's gone. Look at it again. I'll bring it closer here to this side. Not sure if it can be seen on the other side as well. But 4-4 is an in-home run chance 1-13. He has normal power, and that's a 7. So DeSensei will send it deep. And the Angels grab another run to lead it 6-2. For DeSensei, that is going to be home run number 7 on the replay. He had 16 real world, RBI number 28 to go with the 7 home runs. It is now 6-2 California. And here's Devon White. 3-7 for White, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. But the run comes in, and we go to the bottom of the seventh inning stretch time here at Yankee Stadium. Don Sutton's going to keep going. He's got a big lead to work with, so why not keep going at this point? So let's see here. What happened? I'm off on my computer here. Something's wrong. Oh, I'm going to do a coffee refresh, but there's something wrong on my computer, and I got to figure out what's going on here. I didn't enter something correctly, apparently. Because, did I not give him the home run? What's going on here? Oh, for some reason I gave Pasqua a home run. So that's what I got really screwed up. So I'm going to have to do some undos here. Let's do some serious undos. And that's the good thing about the Strat-O-Matic computer. You can say what you want about the Strat-O-Matic computer. ID Gesture can make fun of it and whatever else. But one function it does have that is a must-have is the undo button. And not just for the previous play. You can go back and undo the whole game if you want to. But I need to go back and undo the home run that for some reason I gave a home run to Pasqua. I think I forgot to put it in for Winfield or something. So I gave the home run to Pasqua and he really struck out. So let's get Pasqua's strikeout in there. All right, 5-2 is accurate now. So Rasmussen against Joyner got him to ground to second. Then we made the pitching change to bring in Stoddard. So this will only take a couple seconds. Stoddard is in, and he got Downing to fly to center. But then DeSensei got him for the home run, and then he struck out White. Now we're back in business. Okay, so it'll be Cerrone, Tollison, and Washington, although there will be a pinch hitter for Wayne Tollison for sure. Let's look at the bench here. They're going to use Ron Kittle to pinch hit, and Bobby Meacham will go in and play short. So we're going to have Cerrone, Kittle, and Claudell Washington, and Wayne Tollison will lead the ball game. So Kittle will pinch hit here in the 7th, and Meacham is going to be the shortstop in the 8th inning. So bottom of the 7th, the pinch hitter there is going to be Kittle, and the new shortstop is going to be Meacham. So we're going to have Cerrone, Kittle, and Claudell Washington. Those are the scheduled hitters. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. But, of course, as Jeffrey mentioned, before we have the bottom of the 7th, it is time for the 7th inning stretch. And time, of course, my coffee, you can see how low it is now. It's gotten down to next to nothing, and it's not cold, but it's definitely below room temperature, I think, or down to room temperature. So it has to be refreshed and warmed up. And with that in mind, we will be going to the 7th inning stretch. So give me a chance to walk around and stretch a bit. And you can enjoy Take Me Out to the Ball Game while I refresh the coffee. And we get back in the top of the 8th, Jeff will have another trivia question for us. But in the meantime, we have Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So while I go refresh my coffee, you guys can enjoy Take Me Out to the Ball Game. back with refreshed coffee, which is mandatory in this situation. That's an interesting little tidbit there, Jeff. Hello, Tribe fan. He may have binge watched that, Dan. He possibly did. Oh, and here you go, Jeff. We're all back filled up and ready to go. And that is some good coffee. And my creamer of choice here recently is this International Light Peppermint Mocha for the season. It's got a Macaulay Culkin caricature on it from Home Alone. But peppermint mocha, that's what I get usually this time of year. I don't do the pumpkin stuff. I don't like anything pumpkin. But I did the Home Alone. I did the peppermint mocha. I usually do Cinnabon, but since we're near the holidays, in the holiday season, I should say, I switch off and do the peppermint mocha. So it's not quite as light a version of coffee because it's a little bit darker creamer, but still good nonetheless. All right, here's Rick Cerrone. He's going to lead things off. 4-3. Ground ball pitcher X. Sutton's an E0, but as Dan said, we'll roll this to make sure we don't get a 5. Nope, there's no rare play to be worried about. So he is a 4E0. Now the 4 might be a little troublesome for Mr. Sutton. To make the play, he's got to have a 5 or higher on this D20. And he right on the number 5. The 5 is the G3, barely. So Sutton makes the play. It wasn't pretty, but he made it. And now pinch hitting for Tollefson will be the former Chicago White Sox, Ron Kittle. Ron Kittle. Oh, interesting here. I just noticed this. The Strat computer is telling me Ricky Henderson's back on the team now, so he is available. But this is not a high leverage situation. I will save Ricky for if there's a high level situation. Right now, Ron Kittle is going to come to the plate. In the season, he hit 277 with 12 home runs, and those 12 home runs came in just 159 at bats. So he's got some pop. On the replay, Kittle is hitting 333 in 78 at bats, 7 homers, 21 driven in. Sutton 3-6, and look at this, clean as a baby's ass, Jeff. Get your wipes out. What a great move by Lou Piniella making this call. 3-6. There it is, clean as a baby's ass. 3-6. Ron Kittle, pinch hit home run off the off the glove or the pitch of Don Sutton. Home run for Kittle. And for Kittle, that is home run number 8 on the replay in just 79 at bats. Cuts the lead to 6-3. But there you go. Home run it was. So back to the top of the order for Claudell. He's 0 for 3. Angel bullpen starting to stir a bit. 110 for Claudell. Ground ball to Schofield. That's out number 2. So I think they're going to have Sutton get through 7 and then cap him at 7 innings. Here's Willie Randolph. .48 for Randolph against Sutton, and that's a ballpark blast. That's a 12, though, so that's going to fail. It will be a fly to left field because he needed a 1-8. Randolph at weak power would have been a single anyway, but this one is going to be just a fly to left to end the inning. So 3 solo home runs by the Yankees, but they trail at 6-3. As all they can seem to produce are solo home runs. But that'll be it for Don Sutton. They will cap him at 7 innings. And coming into play shortstop for the Yankees now is Bobby Meacham. He will be the new shortstop. Sutton's going to go 7 innings, give up the 3 runs, which were 3 solo home runs. scattered 7 hits otherwise. Let's see here. He walked, I believe, just the one walk to Cerrone, and that was it. Struck out 5. And of course, with the win, he would even his record at 4-4 if that stays the way it is. Back for his second inning of work is Tim Stoddard. And Jeffrey, here he goes to the question. What batter made the last out in Don Larson's perfect game? It was a left-handed hitter, but I don't know, because I remember the swing, but I don't remember who it was. But I know Dale Mitchell sounds right, Joel. I know he's left-handed because I remember seeing the video. Kind of checked his swing. So Joel got it. All right. I never heard of Dale Mitchell before, except that's the only context I've heard that name before was in that perfect game. And wasn't Don Larson like the most obscure guy you would think of to pitch a perfect game? I mean, you can understand it if Bob Gibson or Sandy Koufax pitched a perfect game. But Don Larson was basically a journeyman pitcher. And just for one day, he had everything go his way. So, thank you for the question, Jeff. That was a good question. All right, so due up is Schofield here in the top of the 8th. It's a 2-6, and that's a ground ball to the new shortstop Meacham. I'm telling you, bring a new fielder in, the ball will find you, just the way it works. And here on the very first at bat, a 2-6 is a ground ball to short, and the new fielder Meacham, however, was up for the task to make that play. And there is one away for Jack Howell. Howell has homered. He's 1 for 3 with a home run. 4-7, and that's going to be a solid single for Jack Howell against Stoddard. Howell will not be held. It'll be Darryl Miller, and actually coming up for the California Angels out of the bullpen will be Dwayne Miami Bice. He is loosing in their bullpen. So here's Miller. 2-4 for Miller. Ground ball shortstop A. It's another Giovanni's tailor-made 6-4-3 double play. Second one turned by the Yankees in this game. But they still trail it by the score of 6-3 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. That's going to be it for Stoddard, I believe. And now Dwayne Bice will come on, the right-hander from the California Angels. Get the information off of him once you bring him in from the bullpen. Dwayne Bice. All right, on the real season, Bice was 6-7 with a 3.39 ERA and 17 saves. In the replay, 4-1 with 2 saves and a 3.03 earned run average, so a little bit better than his 3.39. So he'll be facing Mattingly, Ward, and Winfield. Due up. And Don Sutton hoping to even his record at 4-4 at the end of this one. So here's Mattingly. So we put in Bice as the new pitcher. He's got a +1 hold with a -2 there. It makes him a -1, same as Sutton. 4-4, and as a ground ball third base X, that's going to end up going to DeSensei. He's a 3E23 for DeSensei. 3E23. 3-15, he'll get to that. That's a 10. You don't usually get many errors on 10s. We get an 11 here, but no 10, so it's a good play for DeSensei. And there's one away. One down, and that brings up Gary Ward. Ward is 0 for 3. 3-4, and he's going to strike out against Bice. So now Ward is 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. And that brings up Mr. May, Dave Winfield. He homered his last time up. Hey, Todd B. Yep, the Bice is definitely. Well, first of all, when I first saw the guy, I was mispronouncing his name. I was pronouncing the U and calling him Bwice like twice, but it's actually Bice, is what I was told. Maybe he's on the bike squad. I don't know. Here's Winfield. 4-5. Split chance. 1-4 is a single. That's a 20. Line out to short. Only the second line out of the game. Very low line out totals in this one. So we go to the ninth. Like I said, Stoddard went an inning and 2/3. Gave up 2 hits and a run. No walks and a strikeout. And we'll have to figure out who the Yankees want to use here in the ninth inning. It'll be Polidor, Pettis, and Joyner. So let's take a look at the bullpen and see who's got the most rest and who makes the most sense for the Yankees. Who might need some work, etc. Let's see here. They will go with Bob Shirley, a left-hander out of the bullpen. Bob Shirley. The other options were Ron Guidry or Dave Righetti. Bordy is tired because he pitched like 4 innings in the last game, so can't use him. So we're going to go to Bob Shirley, a left-hander for the Yankees. He's a -4 hold, which makes him a -5, but I don't know if that's technically relevant at the moment. Shirley on the real season would eventually get traded to Kansas City, but right now he's 1-0 with a 6.31 ERA on the real season. And in the replay, Bob Shirley is 4-1 with 2 saves and a 5.14 ERA. Going to start out facing Polidor, the number 9 hitter, and then we flip it over to Pettis and Joyner. 6-6 against Shirley is going to be a leadoff walk for Polidor, so he'll walk. No threat to run, so he won't go anywhere. But Pettis, he's only a C bunter, so we're not going to bunt with Pettis. I thought that would have been a good strategy, but he's only a C bunter, so they are going to have him swing away. 6-2, and that's a fly ball to left, and that's handled by Pettis. I'm sorry, by Ward, rather, for the first out. And that brings up Joyner, lefty-on-lefty matchup with Wally World. Nothing on the Havoc. 5-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. They were not holding Polidor, so Meacham will keep his full range, but even that is not very good. As you can see on the card, Meacham is a 4E29. 4E29 for Bobby Meacham. 4E29. Let's see if he can get to it. 4-4, he's not going to get to it. That's a single 2 stars. And now we're going to check for errors. Single, and that's going to move Polidor to third, but now we're checking for the error. He is an E29 as a shortstop. So he's got to avoid 11, 3, 17, and 18. Actually, that's not too bad. That is a 10. He barely did it, but he does avoid the error, but it is going to get through for a base hit. And it will put runners at the corners with only 1 out for Brian Downing. Downing is your batter. Infield is looking for the double play. 5-6, and that's a walk from Shirley. It's going to load the bases. So Shirley a little bit shaky. Bases are now loaded. And you got Doug DeSensei, who just homered his last time up, stepping to the plate. Again, the infield looking for the double play. Two, 3 for DeSensei is a fly ball right field beat ? So potential sacrifice fly. Lead runner Polidor, though, is only an 11, and Winfield's a -4 arm. You do add the 2, would be a 1-13 and 1-9. 1-9. Boy, you don't like your chances there. So they're going to hold him up on a shallow fly. So with 2 outs and the bases loaded, we got Devon White at the plate. Clutch situation for White. Wait a minute, I didn't do something on the computer correctly. Let me fix this. I didn't give Downing his walk on the computer, so let me do that. Now, it was the Sensei who flew to right. Oops. Come on, get over here. Now we're set. 2 outs, bases full for Devon White. In the clutch for White against left-handers. He loses hits on 2-8 and 2-11. A couple of anti-clutch results. Infield back to normal. 1-7, and that's a strikeout. So he surely strikes out White to end the inning and pitch around all the mess. It keeps it a 6-3 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Kathy, if you want to go ahead and do your trivia question now, go right ahead as I get ready for the bottom of the 9th. You have the floor. All right, hold on. Let's go look at the question here. Because of a decimal point erroneously placed in a U.S. government food table document, we were led to believe we too could have Popeye arms by consuming this vegetable. Well, I'm assuming it's spinach since that's related to Popeye, but maybe it's something different. But Popeye was the official proponent of spinach back in the day. But maybe it's something different. But you threw Popeye out there, so that's why I went with the spinach. All right, and Are You Ready jumped in there as well with spinach. Very good. All righty. And I do realize that column 6 on the pitcher and column 3 on the batters are kind of off the thing. So if I roll one of those, I'll slide the cards over. But I don't want to lose anything else on the score sheet, or certainly not on the dice table. Thank you for that one, Kathy. All right, bottom of the 9th, last chance for the Yankees. It's Pagliarulo, Pasqua, and Cerrone. But then you have Meacham. You got to use Meacham because they have nobody else to play shortstop. So you're stuck with Meacham at that point. Here's Pagliarulo, 3-7, so we'll slide it over. 3-7 is a strikeout. So Bice gets Pagliarulo on strikes for out number 1. Bice going for save number 3. He had 17 on the real season. This will be his 3rd if he gets it. Here's Pasqua. He's 0 for 3. That's a 1-5 for Pasqua. He's going to strike out. So Bice now with 3 strikeouts in his inning and 2/3 of work. And it's down to Rick Cerrone. And actually, Ricky Henderson has picked up a bat. He will hit for Meacham, and they'll figure out shortstop later. So Rick Cerrone will step to the plate, or do they pinch hit for Cerrone? Actually, we're going to pinch hit for Cerrone with Ricky Henderson. And if the game miraculously goes extra innings, they have Joel Skinner to catch. How about that? But Ricky Henderson, the Strat computer is telling me Ricky Henderson is available. He's on the roster. I think I have him in the minor leagues folder right now. So let me go get Ricky Henderson. Bring him back to the land of the relevant. So Ricky Henderson will pinch hit for Rick Cerrone. Good chance to get Henderson an at bat. So we'll bring in Henderson for the replay on the computer to get his at bat. And like I said, Joel Skinner would catch if it miraculously went to the 10th inning. But right now, Ricky Henderson is going to pinch hit for Rick Cerrone. Henderson in the real season, 291 hitter with 17 home runs. On the replay, he's hitting 324 with 9 home runs. So Ricky, one of those rare players that refers to himself in the third person. Might be the only baseball player I can think of that referred to themselves in the third person, but there probably were others. So let's see if third person Ricky can do anything. 5-8, of course, to go off Bice's card, and he strikes out. Bice strikes out the side to end the ball game. So Ricky says, ain't no fair. Ricky didn't have any chances. That's the way it goes in Strat. That's what the 50-50 is all about. Sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield when it comes to something like that. There's your ball game. California Angels defeat the New York Yankees by the score of 6-3. Get the totals. Bice will get his third save. The win goes to Sutton. He improves his record. He evens it up at 4-4. Bice went 2 innings, gave up nothing, struck out 4. He was dominant. Shirley pitched his 1 inning, walked 3, but somehow got out of it without any danger. Total line score for the Angels, 6 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Yankees, 3 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. Winning pitcher was Don Sutton. He's 3-4. The loser was Rasmussen. He drops to 2-3. Yankees fall to 33-19. California improves to 25-27. As we look ahead to tomorrow, that was game 348. Game 349 tomorrow will be from Fenway Park. It'll be the Boston Red Sox hosting the Minnesota Twins. Bob Stanley against Les Straker. It'll be game 349, and the second game played on June the 3rd. Player of the game in this one, though, I'm leaning toward Doug DeCinces. He was 3 for 5 with a home run. So he got an RBI in the first, got an RBI, or not an RBI, but he was on base and scored on the home run. Actually did get an RBI there, I do believe. So DeCinces with 2 RBI, 2 runs batted in. So he did not get an RBI there, but he had 2 runs batted in, 3 for 5, 2 runs scored, 2 runs batted in. So we're giving Doug DeCinces. Doug DeCinces is being given the player of the game. So thank you all for spending your Monday morning with me. I know it's Cyber Monday, and you guys want to scour the internet for good sales. Of course, you got all day to do that, so it's not a big deal. I'm still not sure what I've got some ideas in the works for what I want to do in the evenings. Other than Strat, whether it's different, whether it's a history maker thing or an inside pitch thing or a payoff pitch thing or something like that. I'm still floating those ideas around as to what I want to do. So I haven't really decided yet. Of course, this project is my main focus, and then anything else I do after that is just, secondary. But I feel like I need to have something other than Strat-O-Matic on the channel. So I'm kind of leaning toward doing something else, but we'll see. I've got to figure out, because I want to find something that I enjoy that I know I'll stick to. So it may depend on if I get anything on Cyber Monday. I could even have an open, unboxing. You never know. That would be unlike me since I'm so frugal, but you never know. I could do it. Rob, I don't own Dynasty League, so I don't know anything about Dynasty League. I know the cards are very busy. I've seen a couple of videos on them, and the cards look rather complex. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, honestly. Don't know. Figure something out, I guess. So with the Yankees loss, let's pull up the standings now. Up to the minute. Yankees fall a game and a half behind Milwaukee. Milwaukee is 32-15. The Yankees are now 33-19. So they're 4 back in the loss column. They got 1 extra win, but they're 4 back in the loss column. Milwaukee has a lot of games to make up. Yankees were 33-19 in real world at this point. So they're right on the money record-wise, because at this point in the real season, they were 33-19. That's exactly where they are now. California improves to 25-27. They are 4 games back of Oakland now, and they're 3 games better than what they were in real world. They were 22-30 real world at this point, so they're 3 games ahead of schedule. And like I said, the next game will be Minnesota and Boston. And as we look ahead, probably I'm going to just kind of scuttle through this in my mind real quick. We're looking at, let's see, how many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, Not sure which one I'm going to play offline because or I could do a doubleheader on Wednesday, maybe, or maybe tomorrow. It's supposed to be rainy and cold tomorrow, so might do a double. I think we're going to do a doubleheader tomorrow, actually. So game one of the doubleheader tomorrow, I just decided we're going to do a doubleheader. So doubleheader tomorrow. Game one will be Minnesota and Boston. Game two looks to be an interesting matchup, pitching matchup anyway. It's Seattle at Toronto. It's Mark Langston against Dave Stieb. That'll be game two of the doubleheader tomorrow. I can't do any yard work outside. It's going to be rainy all day. And so it's a good day to stay inside, drink coffee, and play Strat. So how about that? So doubleheader tomorrow. Game one will be Minnesota and Boston. Game two will be Seattle at Toronto. And then on Wednesday, we are looking at Oakland at Baltimore. That's Kurt Young and Jeff Ballard, a couple of lefties there. On Thursday, we look ahead to Thursday, we're looking at Detroit and Cleveland. That's Jack Morris against Ken Schramm. And on Friday, we're looking at Kansas City at Milwaukee. And that's ID Jester's favorite pitcher, Mark Gubaza, against Len Barker for the Brew Crew. And then the final game, probably, I guess, on Saturday, or maybe I'll play it offline. I don't know. It's Floyd Bannister of the White Sox against Mike Lloyd and the Texas Rangers. So maybe we'll have a doubleheader in there somewhere or another as well. The National League game to be played probably on Saturday, I suppose. Let's see who the National League. What's a good National League matchup for June the 3rd? See what they've got going on here on June the 3rd. I think we're gonna be in Wrigley Field. I'm looking at Wrigley Field or Dodger Stadium. I got two choices here: Wrigley Field or Dodger Stadium. Wrigley Field is Houston at Chicago, Bob Knepper against Rick Sutcliffe, or the Mets and the Dodgers. Although I think we just did a Met-Dodger game not that long ago, so I think we're going to skip that. Although it's a good matchup, Darling against Hershiser. But I think we're going to be in Wrigley Field for the National League setup. Houston Astros against the Chicago Cubs. That'll be the National League game to be played on this June the 3rd date. So that's just a look ahead. But tomorrow, short term, will be... Now, that was the 84 grade, so when they came out 35-10. 87, they did win the division, but it was a tough fight with Toronto all the way. Yeah, 35-5, actually. Thank you, Joel, for correcting that. Frank, you've been staggering. All those are good games. Payoff pitch, inside pitch, they're all good games. No question about it. So, I bought several payoff pitch seasons, older seasons that I haven't used. Might be a good time to bring them out. I don't know. Or I could do inside pitch. I've got to, decide what I want to do with that. But short term, tomorrow is a doubleheader. First game, Minnesota, Boston. Second game, Toronto, Seattle. So that's going to do it from here, folks, on this Cyber Monday. What is it, November the 30th, or is it actually December the 1st? I'm trying to remember I don't even know what day it is anymore around here. It's actually December 1st. I didn't realize we were in December. And, of course, I got some bills to pay in December. We got personal property tax for our vehicles that are due by Friday, so I got to pay those online. And then my car, the license on my car needs to be renewed in December. I've got a December 25 sticker on there right now, and I need to have December 26 on there before the end of the year. So I got to do both of those things. Fortunately, I don't have to go to DMV or anything. I can just do it all online, which makes it very, very easy to do. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great Monday, whatever you have planned. Hope you can find some good Cyber Monday deals out there if there's anything you're interested in. But until then, thank you all, and thank you, Jeffrey and Kathy, specifically for the trivia questions. They were very thought-provoking. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And until tomorrow, I will see you all down the road.